Oh, no. Okay, so we have a lot of K and pre-K. We have 1 3rd grade. So we are excited again to welcome you. Now, those of you who have attended some of our other open houses or information sessions, some of this information will be the same. So if you want to jump off, we totally understand if it sounds repetitive to you. Also, if you have questions, feel free to jump in or put them in the chat, and we'll make sure we answer them the best of our ability before we end. And again, this is being recorded, so if you miss anything, we'll email it to you as well. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so we have a quick video to share with you about the Bel Air Edison School.
Hi, Mason. You got everything? All right, go have a good day.
Be your best, do your best, show your best. Have a great day.
My favorite thing about the Bel Air Edison School is the teachers and our principal.
My favorite thing about Tunbridge is the after-school club and activities.
Playing on the playground with my friends.
All the sports we can do.
My favorite thing is the kindness that they give.
Good morning. Good morning, Judith. Breakfast? Okay, have a great day. I feel way to me is meeting a child's needs in every way, physically, socially, and emotionally, as well as academically. It means children being excited about coming to school, about their parents being excited about sending them to school.
We are helping students to learn healthy habits for their intellectual life, their social emotional life, and their physical life. It allows us to create a really safe and welcoming place for students where they're able to rise to academic challenges, to learn how to problem solve, to make healthy choices in the way they live their lives, the foods they eat, the way they exercise, building good habits for sleep and study. It's the way to make a school community stronger.
The AFIA Way is about connecting with children, and it's about making sure we are dealing with the whole child. And so it's extremely important to connect with our scholars so that we know what they need. We're able to meet every scholar's needs physically, intellectually, and social and emotionally.
The social emotional piece is the most important piece in terms of building relationships to begin teaching students academically. If teachers have that connection with the student, it becomes a whole lot easier to reach them and for them to reach you to give you their best.
Every day we start the day with an advisory. We circle up and we talk and we find common interests and things that sort of bring us together as a unit. It's a great way to start the day. Rather than just jumping in right to the academic work, we're starting you off in a way that you feel successful.
The morning meetings bring a time for the students to kind of be themselves, not in an academic setting, and they are able to share and feel like they are heard, not just from me, but by their peers. It starts their morning off on a positive note. Everyone's excited to do morning meeting, and it brings like a unity to the classroom.
The mission looks like students being active. They are at recess every day. They're moving about in dance and gym and music as well. It sounds joyous. It sounds welcoming.
What makes our school different than other schools I've worked at is just the way that the mission and vision is lived out by everyone as part of the school. We actively try to incorporate movement and health into our school, and kids feel that.
This is a home away from home. When I walk through the building, I feel like I am with my family, the children and the staff. We support each other through everything.
The AFIA Way is a blueprint to building a better society in a time that
things just seem so negative, almost never ending with violence or unkind things that happen in our community, we are able to take this future generation and help build the whole child socially, academically, and physically. And I don't think it gets any better than that.
All right. So now everything you need to know about our school. We are a public charter school, so the students living in zone automatically are eligible to enroll in our school. If you're living out of zone, you must submit an application, and that is why you are all here. You submitted an application and chosen by lottery. If you need to know if you're still in zone, if you're out of zone, you can go to this website here that will tell you. Again, our commitment is making sure that our young ones are growing physically and intellectually and emotionally. We are one school, but we are two campuses. So you've heard a lot of talk about we are the Brems campus, we're the elementary campus, we are pre-K to 5th grade on our campus on Brems Lane. And then up the hill on Brendan Avenue is our middle school campus, which is the Brendan campus, and it's 6th through 8th grade. But we are one school and we are connected. And you'll hear in this presentation, we do many things together as a complete campus to bridge that gap. And that way everyone feels connected all the way from pre-K through 8th grade. So when your child enters with us in pre-K, just know that they have a great start and a great foundation to go all the way through 8th grade with us. And then if you would like a personal tour, we are doing in-person tours, obviously following COVID safety protocols, and you can call the school phone number to schedule a visit if you would like a tour. And this is also, we are going to send you this presentation, so you'll be able to click on all these links that are in the presentation. But this is how you register for kindergarten and pre-K. So right now is priority 1 registration for pre-K students. Priority 2 will open on July 1st. So if you are a parent who falls into priority 2, you can still fill out the application, and Ms. Middleton, who is on this call, she does our registration and enrollment. She will just hold your application, and then when it opens on July 1st, she'll be able to enroll your child in the system. Any questions or concerns, or if you want to know if you're in priority 1 versus priority 2, you can email Ms. Middleton. Her email address is in this slideshow, as well as call the school and you can talk to her. Ms. Middleton, would you like to add anything about registration right now for pre-K and K?
No, Ms. Garner, you've covered it all.
Okay.
And good morning, everyone. I was having internet issues. That's why I was unable to introduce myself, but it's very nice seeing you all.
Thank you. So these are just the items that you'll need for registration. So even the 3rd grader that we have on the phone call right now, if you're registering, it's birth certificate, your ID, 2 proofs of address. Pre-K requires proof of income, and then child's health information, the immunization record and the physical form and the lead test form. So, and Ms. Middleton, again, like if you ever have any questions about that, she can answer those questions about items you need. So you heard in the video about the AFIA Way. Our AFIA Way is composed of 3 parts: our intellectual health, which is our academics, our social emotional health, and our physical and nutritional health. So as a part of our intellectual health, our academic programming, for our curriculums, we currently use Eureka Math, which is a district-wide curriculum that is used currently. We also, for reading and literacy, we use Reach for Reading, which is a comprehensive literacy curriculum that includes phonological awareness, phonics, reading, writing, and it is based from National Geographic. It includes science and social studies cross-curricular connections, so that students are getting a comprehensive whole curriculum. And then we also have small group instruction that we focus on. That is when your students are grouped based on their ability levels, and we work in small groups to meet their current needs. So if your student is needing some more intervention and not getting a concept, they're grouped with students that are in the like category, and then they work. If your students are at a higher level and they need extra push, they are then grouped with those students and they are pushed that way. And then again, the levels range, but your students are grouped with students with like abilities. And then sometimes we also do small groups where students are grouped mixed in. So they might have a student who is lower performing with a higher performing student, and those students are able to collaborate and help each other. We also, during this time of virtual learning, we have online platforms that we've been using. For example, Freckle Math, that has been an adaptive online platform that we've used to work with math instruction. Teachers are able to give assignments via Freckle. Students are able to work at their level, and the program is adaptive, so that way it will move them whatever level they need based on how they're answering the questions and how they're problem solving for the math. And then we are also using Amplify Reading, and that also is an adaptive program that is based off of a pre-test that is given and a running record that is given for reading. And then they move and work on early decoding skills in order to focus on their reading instruction. We also use RAS Plus, Reading A to Z RAS Plus, which is another reading curriculum where teachers can assign books to them. They're books on their level. They can read on their own. There is a library of over 800 texts that they can read from. And then they are also, when they get past a certain reading level, they're given comprehension questions. And those comprehension questions can then change based on their level of need. And then we also, during this time, when we're in person, we take field trips. We like to take field trips very often, but right now we're doing learning extensions, which are virtual field trips, and they happen every Wednesday currently in our virtual schedule. And the students are having any experiences from zoos to aquariums to museums, to the banks coming in and talking about managing money and learning how to count money. So there are various extensions that our students participate in. And then, of course, we have additional supports. So we have our paraeducators who are currently in grades pre-K through first grade. Every classroom in pre-K through first grade currently has a paraeducator who works with the teacher and works on that small group instruction, supports them in whole group instruction, and it is like a second teacher in the classroom. We have our interventionists at every level. So there's an interventionist for pre-K and K, for first through third, for fourth and fifth, and they work with those students who need intervention specifically. And then we have our community leaders. So like I said, I'm the community leader for pre-K and kindergarten. We have Miss Mealy, who is the community leader for first through third. And we have Miss Giddens, who is the community leader for fourth and fifth grade.
We actually will have, I'm sorry, Ms. Gardner. We're actually going to have 2 adults in every classroom next year. So I know we have a third grade parent on the call. Next year, every classroom will have 2 adults to work on learning loss that may have happened during the pandemic. And also, like Ms. Gardner said, to focus on that small group instruction, making sure the students are getting exactly what they need.
All right, thank you. And then as for enrichments, we have after school programming that you'll hear more about. We have our school family council who meets once a month to come together with our stakeholders, with our parents, with our teachers, and they hear about what we're doing in the school. We have parent workshops that we offer. Currently, we've been offering parent workshops at least twice a month. And then we have the Genius Bar that we did specifically when we were in the virtual setting, which was a time where students could come in and they could get one-on-one support with their teachers on how to use the platforms, how to use Zoom, how to use Google Classroom. And then we also have summer camp, which will be available to our new families as well. And it's for rising kindergarten to 8th grade. So that summer camp application will be going out shortly, and you all will be able to take interest in that as well. Our rising kindergarten students who are going into kindergarten, they're able to participate in a partnership with Port Discovery that focuses on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as the arts and as well as literacy. And then for our rising first graders through 8th grade, they have different programs of enrichment programs that teachers will run, and they will have opportunities to do multiple enrichments.
Can you give the dates and times of the camp?
Yeah, so the camp is running from July 6th to July 30th. So just for the month of July, and it is from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it is a half-day program that we are running, and they will get lunch as they're leaving the campus. So lunch will be given to them as they leave the campus in like a grab and go style. But camp is July 6th through July 30th, and it runs from 9 to 12.
And there's a question in the chat I saw about pre-K. Yes, aftercare is available for pre-K as well. And there is we didn't have it last year. I'm not sure what the cost will be, but we'll make sure that that information goes out as soon as possible. But we do offer aftercare for everybody.
All right, is that it so far for questions?
I'll keep checking,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then here's just some pictures of our partnerships. We celebrate Read Across America Week, and so we've had some key speakers you'll notice in these pictures come in and read to our students. We also have a partnership with the National Aquarium, and our older students in 3rd through 5th grade participate in something called Aqua Partners, where they come in and they teach them new subjects each year in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And then we also have had the Maryland Zoo come in and bring their programs for our little ones.
And all these pictures were pre-COVID, everybody, just so everybody's aware. They were pre-COVID.
Yes, and the video that was made that you guys just watched in the beginning, that was also pre-COVID when it was filmed. For our social emotional health, we have Mr. JB on here to talk about some of the things that we do with restorative practices, but we do have 10 expectations that we follow throughout the school in every grade level. And then we also have a house system, which house will choose you. So if you've seen Harry Potter and their house system that they have, it sort of is like that idea. And every student who enters our school, a house chooses them, and they are in that house with grade levels ranging from pre-K to 5th grade. And they participate in days where they are with their houses, and we're doing community service activities, or we're doing team building activities. Also, all the staff members have a house that has chosen them. So I'm sure that Miss P, who is on this phone call now, and Miss Slayton will tell you that Uaminifu is the best house ever. But I would say that Kujitalea is the best house ever. But every house chooses their people. And so we have a house system, and we do those events throughout the year. But Mr. JB, go ahead and take it away with restorative practices.
So what we aim to do with restorative practices, we aim to build relationships and maintain relationships. And also, when issues arise, we do our best to make sure that we are repairing the harm that was done. So this is through intensive conversations and, addressing the way we make other people feel, so that we get a better understanding of how what we do affect the people around us. Is there another slide?
So to make a long story short, instead of sending students to the office if they have challenges or made a bad choice, we just try to make sure that we find out why it happened. And then, like Mr. JB said, fix whatever the problem is, and resolve whatever the conflict is. We try and keep the students in the classroom as much as possible. So we don't try and do detentions or out of school suspensions. Again, we just try and build them up.
And part of that building up is the morning and afternoon circles that we have. That way the students, again, in like the video that we saw, have a sense of community. They feel like they're a part of something bigger than just coming into school to do work. and to complete academics. We want them to feel like this is their family and they are safe here. So we do morning and afternoon circles. It gives them a time to check in with us, to discuss anything that they would like to discuss. And the restorative practice coaches, Mr. JB, Mr. Banks, and Mr. Rowley, are all a part of those morning circles and afternoon circles. And they also get to know the students very well throughout the school day, going in and out of the classrooms. We also have weekly family events that we hold. A lot of our weekly family events right now are on Wednesday evenings. And again, we are a community school. So here's some of the things that we've done with our community. Again, you see Port Discovery. You see Mr. Brandon Scott. He likes to visit us very often. We do walks throughout the community with all of our partners. And we also have gotten many winter coats and jackets and hats and gloves and mittens to give out to our students as well. And then our third commitment is for physical health. So we have 3 physical education coaches right now. We have 1 health and wellness coach. We have 2 music instructors, 1 art instructor. We have a running club, basketball, cheer squad. Obviously, basketball and cheer squad were happening before COVID. But we also have built-in recess every day, brain breaks currently in a virtual setting. They're also called screen breaks, where they take a break from the screen. And again, our weekly learning extensions that I said that are virtual. BWAP is the Bel Air Edison Wellness Ambassador Program, and that is where we work to connect with our middle school campus. So sometimes BWAP is held at our campus, and sometimes BWAP is held at the middle school campus. But it is a way for our students to get to know all of the educators and all of the supports that they have at each of the campuses while focusing on physical and nutritional health. And then we have many community events that we partake in. Ms. P, do you want to add anything else to community events?
Yeah, so for community events, we have a lot of great partnerships. So throughout the year, you will see a lot of partners like Love Baltimore, which is one of our local organizations who you'll hear a lot of. They host some family events for us, like they held a Lego night and were able to provide some kits for our students. Safe Streets is another local organization. They have like a local fish fry on Fridays or funnel cake night. They'll also do some major fun giveaways during the year. And then we have our Bel Air Edison Community Association. They meet once a month. So if you're a resident in the community, you can come there to also hear what else is happening in the Bel Air Edison area. So we are always partnering with our local organizations. And as Ms. Gardner shared as well, we do partner with other organizations outside of Bel Air Edison. So like Port Discovery, Towson University, Fulton Banks, Vision for Baltimore. So we have a lot of partnerships that we work closely with in order to help families get the resources that you all may need.
All right. And here's some more pictures of our partnerships. We do have a partnership with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra Orchids, and currently Miss Sweet, who is pictured here, she works with our pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade students throughout the week. All right, Miss P.
All right. So good morning, everybody. My name is Chelsea Pajardo. I'm the community school coordinator over at the Bel Air Edison School Brems campus. My apologies for being late. We had one of our learning extensions. Our 4th and 5th graders actually have a New York dance instructor visiting them today. So that is where they are. But we are following all of the CDC guidelines in addition to the SOP, which is the standard operating procedures provided by city schools. So right now we are having a virtual and in-person model for our students. So next slide, please. And as always, if you have any questions, please come off of mute or feel free to put them in the chat. Our in-person students arrive at school at 8:50. They will wear a face mask and we have our entrances designated. That goes the same for any other year. We have pre-designated entrances, which are closest to your child's grade level classroom. And when they're coming in right now, we do take all the precautions. So we do all the health screening. So we'll ask the 3 questions. You know, have you been around anybody with COVID? Do you have any of the following symptoms? Have you been asked by your doctor to quarantine, in addition to taking their temperature? So every student entering the building, in addition to all of the staff members, are asked these questions each and every day. Next slide, please.
And just to note that next year, some of these things may change. but it will all be based on, we follow the district and the CDC's guidelines on safety precautions. But if these things change, we will let you know as soon as we get those directives.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Principal Slayton. So as of right now, if a student or an adult is experiencing any COVID-like symptoms, they are advised to stay home. Of course, if they've been diagnosed with COVID-19, they're advised to stay home. If they're waiting for those test results, advised to stay home. And then if they've been exposed, they're also advised to stay home. So when in doubt, we are reminding families to go ahead and stay home and just reach out to their homeroom teacher or to the main office to let us know. Next slide, please. And then once in the building, your little will be escorted to their classroom. As of right now, each of the students has an individual bin where all of their belongings are placed. So in the past, we were able to use communal style settings for supplies or sharing of games or sharing of books and all of that. But because of the CDC guidelines and we're trying to keep everyone safe, every student has their own individual supplies and their own individual items needed. Each classroom, as Ms. Gardner mentioned, right now has the homeroom teacher in addition to a support staff or paraeducator in the room. And then there's a designated staff member assigned to the pod. So that pod is the group of individuals that are eating lunch with your child, that are taking those breaks with your child, that are going outside to play at recess with your child. All of those people are together during the day, and we try our best not to have pods cross-contaminate or spend too much time in the same space. So if we're outside, for example, you might have one group all the way in the back lot on the track, and then you might have another group outside, but they might be on the front lawn. Next slide, please. And the safety measures we're putting in place is that every adult in the building must wear a face mask. And for those that don't know, yes, I'm in the building right now, but I'm by myself. So that is why I don't have my face mask on, but they are right here, so you can hear me. But we do wear both of our face masks. We always tell the littles to make sure you're covering your mouth and nose. And it's just a quick reminder. You'll hear them talking to each other too about it. And so some of the things we practice before coming back into the building, we're having the children wear their masks at home just so that they could get comfortable with it. We also might have some students or staff members wearing face shields. That is an extra precaution. It is not in replace of a face mask. So everybody has to wear a face mask. But if you'd like your child to wear a face shield, they're more than welcome to, in addition to the face mask. Next slide, please. We have practicing social distancing. So you will see throughout our building the 6 feet signage everywhere on the decals. It is very fun. It's in lime green and bright orange, so you cannot miss it. We have the floor decals and the signs throughout the buildings, on the exits, in the hallways, in the bathrooms. We have them in the classrooms. They are located everywhere. And that's just to reinforce the social distancing, the mask wearing, hand washing, and the other requirements that the CDC is saying are necessary to stop the spread or help stop the spread. We also have the MERV 13 filters in our building, in addition to air purifiers in each of the spaces, plus all of the windows open. Next slide, please. And then our main office, we have updated our visitor protocol. We also have a plexiglass that separates visitors from our office administration. We have the socially distanced lobby area in addition to the signage. Again, those hallway signs are everywhere. The elevators have a max of 2 people right now, and the water coolers are not accessible. So as of right now, we do ask that the littles bring in a water bottle, as pictured here, to help them easily, drink water during the day if they'd like. Next slide, please. And then we're committed to maintaining these expectations and procedures. So as a staff, we always talk about the daily communication. We always talk about the importance. We're having the conversations with the littles about why this is so important. And, we're asking our kids how they're feeling about it, and they'll talk to each other about the importance. Next slide, please. Our cleaning staff is amazing. We have Promise Keepers. They are following everything the city schools SOP is saying, in addition to the CDC guidelines. So you are seeing increased custodial staff on our end. You are seeing increased cleaning and disinfecting of high touch areas throughout the day. You are seeing a cleaning at the end of each day. In addition to, on Wednesdays is our asynchronous day. So there's a deep clean happening right now, which is why I'm the only person in the building outside of custodial staff. Principal Slayton, our maintenance crew at Promise Keepers, meet weekly to discuss all of these plans. And each classroom is also supplied with any cleaning supplies they may need. Our classrooms, the workspaces are 6 feet apart as of right now. There are desk shields for the littles. There are individual supplies for everyone. hand sanitizer galore, disinfectant wipes galore, access to the sink to wash their hands periodically throughout the day. And if weather permits, teachers may take their students outside if they'd like. Next slide, please. And here are some pictures of our second grade classroom. Next slide. Again, some more pictures of what it looks like. Our hallways, those are the green and orange signs I was talking about. As you can see, it makes it fun to socially distance. Next slide, please. And then Ms. Gardner, take it away for teaching.
All right. So right now,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Real quick, no one asked Ms. P, but how do parents, like during this virtual environment, how do parents volunteer or stay involved, especially new parents?
Absolutely. So some of our volunteering, what it can look like is volunteering in the virtual space. So you might want to come in to conduct a read aloud virtually. There are also opportunities when we host our outside events. For example, when we did our trunk or treat, we had it outdoors so the parents you could donate different supplies like the candies. You could host a table. If you'd like to get involved in other capacities, you might say, I really love art and I'd love to do something regarding art with the students. Then we could talk about what that could look like. Maybe that's a weekly after school activity, and we could go from there.
And although we don't have a PTA, we do have the School Family Council, which was mentioned before, which is a monthly meeting of school staff, community members, and parents.
All right. So our teaching right now looks a little bit different because we are in person and we are still virtual. So we have our roomers, those children who are in person, they come in at 8:50 every morning to start for their health screening, and then they're escorted to their class. And we have our Zoomers who right now are logging in at 9 a.m. And they are virtual. Dismissal right now. So our in-person students are dismissing at 2 p.m. through their entrance. They are all escorted outside. So another precaution is that no parents are allowed in our buildings right now. So they screen in the morning and then the parents just leave them and we escort them to their classroom. In the afternoon, the teachers bring the children outside and they're able to get picked up. But no parents currently come into our buildings. And then our virtual students, they log in at 9 and then they also end their day at 2 p.m. From virtual learning. And then also right now we're doing a lot of simultaneous teaching. So our teachers and our support staff are teaching the roomers and they're teaching the Zoomers at the same time. But their schedules do a lot for them to have time just with the roomers and have time just for the Zoomers. And then resource classes. Some resource classes right now are running in person, like our physical education classes. Those teachers do take the in-person students outside while the virtual students have a pre-recorded video to watch on their screen virtually. And then some of our other classes, like art class is virtual still right now with all their supplies in the classrooms if needed or at home, and our music as well. Technology. So all of our students this year, we have worked very hard to give technology to all of our students. So all of our students who need it have technology currently. Our students who are in the building, they bring their devices into the building. They take them home for that Wednesday asynchronous day where they're working from home because of the deep cleaning. And then they bring those devices back. Our pre-K students currently, they just leave their devices at home and they're doing everything from inside the classroom hands-on with their teachers in order to not bring that piece of technology back and forth. And then again, we said that they have individualized materials. So no one is sharing materials in the classroom. Everyone is having their own set of materials in their own bin, their own books to read, and items get disinfected as needed and for scheduling. And then our Zoomers, we have had days where we schedule pickups for additional materials. So throughout the year, we started off the year giving them backpacks of supplies, then we replenished going towards winter break. And then as teachers need specific supplies to the students, we create days for those virtual students to pick up those materials that they need. And then again, like I said, we are chunking lessons so that way the teachers and the support people have time with both the roomers and the Zoomers. So If you ever have a question of, is your student getting the right amount of attention, or if you feel like your student's not getting the attention needed, please reach out to the teaching staff or to any of the community leaders, and we will help you work through that. But we are working really hard to make sure that the virtual and the in-person students are being engaged in the academic work daily.
Ms. Gardner, there was a question in the chat that I'll post. So is how many days a week is in-person learning? And so we are in person right now 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays are asynchronous days. However, entering the new year, that may change.
Yes. And again, like Ms. Slayton said, we will update you on all of the new protocols if there are any as soon as we know them. As for bathrooms, we have arranged bathroom break schedules so that the students are in the restroom one at a time so that classes don't collide at the bathroom. Again, the signage is displayed, they socially distance, the bathrooms are cleaned hourly on a schedule, and they are monitored. And then we also have, designated classes at specific bathrooms in order to cut down on that cross-contamination. And then along with that, we are still communicating. We're communicating more now than ever. We use Class Dojo. Students are able to earn points for coming to school, for being in uniform, for participating. And Class Dojo can be used with the virtual students and the in-person students, but then it's also a messaging system between the teacher and the parents. We also use robocalls and text messages. We have our social media, which is our Facebook and our Instagram. We also, Ms. Slayton writes a Friday letter. Every Friday, it goes through email to parents. And when we are in person and we send home communication, the Friday letter would also go home in the child's folder so that you could see what's going on for the next week and the upcoming weeks. And then Ms. P, do you want to go ahead and talk about lunch and outside time?
Yep, absolutely. So for lunch, we have designated areas. So there is one pod at a time in the designated areas. So students may either be eating in their classroom right now, some may be eating in our movement room, or they may be eating in another designated area. During this time, it is 15 minutes of quietly eating. That way we are, again, reducing the chances of potentially spreading COVID or other illnesses. So we are all keeping precautions. So you may see the staff person wearing, again, a face shield in addition to their mask. We have outside time, so recess. We're for individualized play. The students are still socially distancing while they're outside. Everyone is still remaining 6 feet apart. And then next slide, please. And then visitors, as of right now, for the safety of our students and staff, only students and staff are permitted in the building. Appointments are required, though, if you have questions. And then all of our conferences are still virtual at this time. So if you had any parent-teacher conferences, those would be held virtually via Zoom. If you had an IEP meeting maybe for your child, that's also being held virtually right now, or it's being held via phone conference. We are a meal site, so Monday through Friday as of right now from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. you could come up to the school to receive breakfast. You could get lunch, supper, and snack, and actually 2 days worth of meals for your students, for your children. And then that is happening hopefully too during the summertime, but the district hasn't made that announcement yet. Next slide, please. Oh, yes. There is a question in the chat. Outside lunch can be brought in. So your child absolutely has the opportunity to bring a lunchbox into school. However, what we don't allow is like deliveries. So don't have your lunch delivered for your child. So you can bring the lunch, if they forgot it, please bring it in. But they can absolutely bring a lunchbox with any type of lunch in. Ms. Layton, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was going to say, we've talked about not having folks in person, but as Ms. Gardner stated at the beginning, if you like a tour, just call the office and talk to Ms. Middleton. She'll schedule that, and that can be held in person.
Absolutely. And then as far as late arrival, so as of right now, late arrival is anytime after 9:15 a.m. Again, depending on what this upcoming year looks like, that may change what the late arrival time is. But if that is the case, then you would just come to the main office entrance. Miss Middleton would be there. We would then, go through the whole screening process, and your child would be escorted to their classroom. Early dismissals, the same thing. You would come to the main office. As of right now, that would be before 1:30 p.m. And then your child, Miss Middleton, would reach out to your child's teacher, and then again they would be escorted outside to you. To make sure that there are no disruptions during instruction, we ask that you don't contact the teacher, you just contact the main office, and then we'll call accordingly. All right, next slide, please. All right, and then Mr. JB, you are up in regards to the code of conduct and how it stands.
So first, I want to start by saying a really, really great job, everybody. Really clear and informative information. Also, I'm really excited for our new families because we have a great building, and Mrs. Slayton has worked so hard to build a culture that we have, and all of our staff has worked so hard to maintain it. But the kindergarten and pre-K is the best part of our building. It is truly, truly a pleasure. Your kids are going to come to school excited every day and jazz, and our teachers really, really bring it every day. So I'm excited that you guys are going to get to experience that with them. Okay, so our code of conduct is what we use to inform all of our decision making in terms of behavior. You will be given one at the beginning of the school year, and then that's how we make our decisions. It establishes a clear and common understanding of our expectations for student behavior. In the beginning of the school year, we have a mini training camp that lasts about a week, which is how we emphasize what we expect from our students and from our staff also. We have posters and signs and videos during the training camp week because we really want to start the school year off on the right note. And we want these habits to be maintained throughout the entire year. We have staff and family workshops also. And we continually provide students with focused attention and supports, and that is through our restorative practice work that we do also. And we employ a tiered approach of positive behavioral supports, and that's communicating with students and the families in formal or informal meetings. We collaborate with our school social workers, our school counselors, and school psychologists, and if needed, we create individualized support plans. And for, like Ms. Slayton said, also keeping our students in the classroom is our primary goal. So in the event that there are behavior issues, we try to follow all the steps in the code of conduct, and suspension is the last thing that we want, because we want to make sure it's better for everyone if our babies are in the classroom and getting the most out of our information. So we try our best to make sure that we are keeping them in their classroom. And our students, can we go back one? Okay. The child will immediately be relocated to a designated area away from other students and staff if there are issues that need to be resolved. If the behavior continues at a higher level of disciplinary response will be considered. In extreme situations, after returning to the building from a suspension, if the student continues to refuse to wear a mask, that student may be assigned to virtual learning with their own school for a designated period of time after consultation and approval from the Office of Student Conduct and Attendance, if that's a student with an immediate risk. And what happens if a student is continually not following health and safety protocols? So according to our code of conduct, if a student persists in knowingly violating established safety rules and procedures, the behavior must be chronic and disruptive to the educational process, and/or must be creating an imminent threat of serious harm to other students or staff, and a suspension may be considered. And like I said before, that is the last resort. And a cause for suspension will be failed intervention, having these conversations with students and parents, and they're not going in the way that we would like for both parties, repeated unsafe behavior by a student, and a refusal to obey health and safety protocols. A lack of remorse may support a finding that a student poses an imminent threat to others, and in the event that a suspension is given, it is the administrators will be actively involved in these such cases, and health and safety considerations will be the highest priority. And then listed in here is a copy of the code of conduct.
Thanks, Mr. JB. And as Mr. JB mentioned, of course, suspension is our very, very, very last resort. We obviously want to make sure that our littles get to stay in the building with us as much as possible, because with us, we know that, they're getting the instruction, right? They're getting the social emotional needs met. They're getting that time to learn so that they are ready for their next year of learning. So some frequently asked questions that have been coming up during this time of the virtual and in-person learning have been, will students and staff be required to get COVID tests before coming into school? So as of right now, no, they did not have to get a test in order to return to our building in person. Will in-person students and staff be required to get a weekly asymptomatic COVID test in school? As of right now, that answer is yes. So every week, we are chartered, so we test on Mondays. Every week, our littles and our staff all participate in that are in person, all participate in a quick and easy nasal swab. So literally we open up the Q-tip, we do 4 circles in one nostril, 4 circles in the other, and we put the boogies down into a test tube, and then it goes off to shipping. If you're worried that your pre-K or kindergarten student, or maybe even your 3rd grader would be so opposed to it, no worries. We definitely make it fun for them. We do a little dance. You might see Principal Slayton with her kick. So it's a good time. And we really just, again, we remind the students the reasoning why we're doing it, right? It's to make sure that everybody is staying as safe as possible. So that way we do know. So if a test comes back positive, then we make the phone calls to that positive pod. So to the families, letting them know that someone or somebody in the pool tested positive, and what that means is that that class goes on a 2-week quarantine. In addition, we get the COVID ban from the district to come out to do individual tests on site. Plus, if you'd like, you could also go get an independent test done, and we could give you a list of places where you could go get that done. But we are following, again, all of the CDC and all of the SOP guidelines as that relates. The next question that usually comes up are, can I change my decision from in-person or virtual learning? Yes. So students that were in person absolutely have the option to say like, oh no, I'm not as comfortable. So they could go back to virtual learning if they'd like. Our virtual learners, if they wanted to come in person, but they had missed the survey time, then all they did was reach out to our wonderful front office staff like Ms. Middleton, and then Ms. Middleton would put them on a wait list, discuss with the community leaders, discuss with the teachers to see, was there space available? Because obviously we're still following the guidelines, so only a certain amount of students right now can fit in each of the classes. And then finally, did teachers have to get the COVID vaccination? No, they did not. However, a lot of our teachers did opt to get the vaccination, and many of our staff were actually vaccinated before coming back into the building. So those were just some frequently asked questions in the past sessions we've had. Next slide, please.
And I will say that I'm also a current parent of a student in pre-K, and the COVID testing on Mondays is definitely so fun. And she comes home every Monday and she says, we did our test today. It was okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gardner. All right, so as Ms. Gardner stated, we will definitely send this presentation out to you. These are all of the lists, so you can see the SOP for yourself. You can see the what to know videos by the UMMS. You can see the how to wear a mask, the boogers down video, which I was talking about, which the students have seen. We are a uniform school, so you can get uniforms from Herman's. I'm not sure if we talked about it at the beginning, but we definitely have pre-K and K, you wear the lime green or the bright yellow athletic shirts with the B logo, and then everybody wears athletic bottoms, so yoga pants, sweatpants, and black or gray. First grade is also yellow and green. And then our 2nd and 3rd graders, they wear the orange or the gray. And then our 4th and 5th graders, they get the blue or the black. So we are a uniform school. The code of conduct, as Mr. JB said, is here. And then we have some daycare options that are in the area in case that is something you are interested in. Something else that came up, which I will add before sending this out, our transportation options. So I'll put that in here as well for you guys before you get this. And then of course, as Ms. Middleton said, the forms that you will need will also go in the email so that I'm blanking for the moment, the health forms that you need, the lead forms, the immunization forms, all those forms that you will need in order to register. We'll send that in an email to you as well. Next slide, please. Again, here is the link for that registration. Please make sure you register for your new kindergartner students or your pre-K priority 1 students. Again, if you fall in that priority 2, still register, because Miss Middleton is thebomb.com and she'll just put yours to the side until July 1st for us. Next slide, please. And then thank you. You can look at our website. You can follow us on Facebook. It is the Brems Lane Public Charter School, but now the Bel Air Edison School. Follow us on the gram, anything like that. Principal Slayton has put in the chat, thank you all for joining us today. She looks forward to meeting you and your children in person. She has a meeting to jump off for a family meeting that starts at 10:30, but feel free to email her at dslayton@afiabaltimore.org or contact her at 410-396-9150. Be well, and she'll see you soon. Registration.
Yeah, Miss Nelson, just to let you know that yes, you can call the school at any time, speak with Miss Middleton about that 3rd grade registration, and that will be directly with Miss Middleton. There's no online application for 3rd graders.
Question. I don't know if you were doing it at the end or.
Go ahead. You're good.
So that link that you put in the presentation, is that the same link for the Baltimore City schools or? Okay, and so I'm assuming in that application, we will be able to indicate what school we're interested in. Because I know I'm out of zone. So like, how does that work? How do you know I want to go there?
So you, so perfect question, because I was out of zone for my child to go. And so it lets you put in, like, it'll tell you what your zone school is, but then it also lets you put in the school that you're interested in.
Perfect. And another question in the chat, can you clarify now what priority 1 and 2 is exactly? I'm gonna go ahead and alley-oop that to Miss Middleton, please.
Hello, Baltimore City, they have a scale, a pay scale that they use to determine priority 1 and 2. You can email me or call me tomorrow and I can give you more updated information on that. Again, if you are priority 2, you're still okay. I just won't be able to enter your child into the system until July the 1st.
And then second follow-up question, Ms. Middleton, is what if you already completed the Baltimore City application? What should you do?
The paper application or online?
We will wait.
I completed the online application, so I already designated what schools I was interested in.
Okay, well, that's great. I have 4 applications that I saw this morning. So I will look and I will respond to you if I need any additional information. You'll get an email. It'll say on hold and it'll have notes as to what the issue is, but usually I'll also email the parent. So I'll also reach out to the parent to let you know what additional information may be needed.
Okay, thank you. And I have a couple more follow-up questions. Do you all have a wait list? If so, how do you get on it? Or you just submit the application? And how many pre-K spots do you have?
So are you speaking wait list for pre-K?
Yes.
Okay, so no, there is no wait list. We're actually not supposed to do a wait list for pre-K. The registration just actually opened on Monday. We are actually fortunate because we have 3 pre-K classes. So we're allowed to take 60 students. So right now, all I have is, my lottery people who have applied and a couple of other people. So we usually have space usually up until August. They did change we went from 23 students per class to 20. They just let us know yesterday, but you all are fine. Do you have another student that is looking to register for pre-K?
Oh, yeah, I just have 1. Yeah.
Okay, great. You're fine. Just let me know if you have any additional questions.
Perfect. And then somebody also put in the chat, the chart is on the BCPS website, and I believe they're referring to the chart for the various priority 1 versus priority 2 pay scale. All right, so everybody, we appreciate you coming out. We will stay on for a couple more minutes. If you have, individual questions that you'd like to ask, we will send up the follow-up email, like I said, by later today, definitely by tonight, everybody, but maybe not within like the next 30 minutes. I'm just being honest with everybody.
I'm also going to put my email in the chat because I'm the pre-K and community lead, so I can answer most questions about all things pre-K and K. But again, also too, if you ever call Miss Middleton doesn't know the answer. She defers to me sometimes, but I'll put my email in the chat so that you have that as well. And again, if you want an in-person visit to come see the building, just reach out, call the office. Ms. Middleton can set that up, and Ms. Slayton can take you around the building. You really should come see our pre-K and kindergarten building. It's the blue little building in the back of the school, and it really is like the brightest and greatest world ever for our pre-K and K students.
It is. It's one of the best areas ever. Our whole school, though, is absolutely gorgeous. So don't worry. If you have older kids coming, they too will have a gorgeous space to come. And then I will also throw my email in the chat for you. So if you have any questions in regards to the Bel Air Edison community, volunteering, partnership, anything like that, please feel free to reach out. And yes, we will stay on for a couple more minutes. Thank you all for coming out.
Hello, I did have a question because I have a set of twins. Will you guys be splitting the twins? Will they be able to be in separate classrooms, or will they be together?
So I usually read it. Some people say it's better for them to be separate, but I normally reach out to the parents to see what they prefer.
Okay, all right.
Curiosity.
Right, so I haven't quite figured it out yet. They will actually be going to summer camp this summer, so I'm gonna see how the split situation works because this will be their first time not in the care of a family member. So I don't want them to have a culture shock and then they're like, no, I don't want to go to school. So I was just wondering offhand because I know some schools will split them up and the parent really doesn't have a choice as to split them up or put them together. So I was just wondering.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question. I know you all talked about priority 1 and priority 2 for pre-K, but is that the same for kindergarten too?
No, it's just for pre-K.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any additional questions for us? No.
Okay, I had a quick one. I was thinking about the restorative practices work, and I was just wondering if any, like, in addition to that, is yoga and mindfulness and all of that a part of the program, or whether it's a part of restorative, practices or not? Is it a part of sort of the curriculum? Using some type of mindfulness practice to help with managing emotions and whatnot.
So we use some, that's a really good question. So we use some other grounding techniques like breathing. Since we are a school based on health, a lot of our conversations happen over walks and stuff like that, as distractionary tools and stuff like that. But most of the work we do is talk-based and conversation-based, but the grounding tools are a big part of what we do also.
And also too, in every classroom, you'll see that all of our classrooms have calm down areas. When we're in person, it doesn't matter what grade level, everybody is required to have a calm down area in their classroom, where it's like a separate space where they can go, they can calm down. Sometimes there's chairs, pillows. Obviously, pre-COVID, our calm down areas might look a little bit different, but a lot of our teachers do some yoga, brain breaks, and like the breathing techniques and teaching them ways to calm down, counting to 10, taking belly breaths, that kind of thing.
And then usually in addition to that, at our family events, we'll have like a quick 10 to 15 minute portion, and mindfulness is built in as a part of that conversation as well. So different strategies families can do at home with their students as well, with their children as well.
Okay, excellent. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Any other questions from anyone? All right, so Ms. Gardner, if you want to go ahead and stop the recording.